Okay, real quick while it's fresh. I just walked back in the door. Let's talk about tonight real fast while it's fresh. Because I show a lot of really good stuff on here, and I think you need to know the not so good as well. So tonight I got to the park, the Champ de Mars park that's in front of the Eiffel Tower. It's where everyone goes and sits and has a picnic and watches her light up. Actually, they sit there kind of all day long. It's always a good spot for this one here, hanging out. Well, I don't know if they do it during the day because I've not been there during the day, but in the evening they have people walking around offering, like selling sodas, water, beer, wine, champagne. They just have like vendors walking around with buckets of this stuff selling it. So it's sketch. Okay, so just know that it's sketch. But they do it in all the kind of pretty much all the touristy areas here in Paris. So I've noticed, like when you go to the Sacré-Cœur, you see it there at night. But anyways, so and it doesn't matter, but it does matter. As a white female, that's alone, it does matter. They're all a certain ethnicity, and that ethnicity does not know how to take no for an answer from a woman. And if you have more questions about what that is, you can DM me and we will have a private conversation. I'm not going to call that out here on YouTube, but as a white woman, yeah, they were not white men. Even though white men can also suck. So anyways, the first one came up to me. Well, all of them had walked by. No merci. A few of them got pushy, and I was like, no, I'm good. I've got wine in here, but they don't need to know that. I just was like, I've got a drink. I'm fine. No, merci, no. And typically I just don't even try and engage with them other than saying, no, merci, just don't engage with them. But the first one came up and I said, no. And he was like, well, you need some wine. And I was like, no, dude, I'm good. And he was like, but that's water. And I was like, dude, I'm good. Thank you. No merci. And he says, where are you from? I tell him, Texas. I'll chat with you until you become creepy. And then he says, you're here on vacation? And I was like, yes. And I was like, tonight's my last night. I was like, tonight's my last night, and I'm trying to enjoy this. So that was me being nice and starting to trying to tell him to take the hint. And then he asks where my husband is. And I said, I don't need a husband. And then he asked where my boyfriend was. And I said, I don't need a boyfriend. And so I said, oh, I'm just trying to watch the Eiffel Tower. Just doing my thing. Okay. So then he walks off. And then he comes back around a few minutes later and said something I couldn't understand. And I just was like, what? And comes back over and he says, can we hang out afterwards? And I was like, no. He was like, what? You're not interested? And I was like, no, I'm not. And so then he said, come on, we can go across and get a drink. And I said, no, thank you. And he said, you need to watch your bag. All of a sudden, tone changed and said, you need to watch your bag. You need to watch your stuff. You're not watching it close enough. So then I'm uncomfortable and already. And then he walks away, and I'm just kind of like, I'm looking around at all the other people, being aware of my surroundings. And then another guy comes up and says something to me in French, which I didn't understand. And I just say, je ne parle français. Like, I don't speak French. And then he said, just kind of looks at me. And I was like, no français. So then he asks again, parlez-vous français? No. And then he asks if I spoke Spanish. And I said, no. And he just kind of looks at me. Like, he's really looking at me and kind of like, not in my bubble, but close enough to my bubble that I don't like it. So then I just have to look at him and I'm like, au revoir, goodbye, leave. And he finally gets up and does. But then so now this is the third time I've been made uncomfortable by a man sitting here in the park by myself. And there was an American couple in front of me that kind of, I could tell that they saw it, and he like looked at me and was like, but what made me, so it was only like 10 minutes until the Eiffel lit up and sparkled, which is what I was staying for. I just wanted to see it sparkle once, and then I had to come back. And so then, like, right before it started sparkling, I noticed, and it's, again, this is like, it could have been nothing, but when you watch enough stuff and you read enough stuff about how sex trafficking works, and human trafficking and trafficking of all types, when you read a lot of stuff about that, a lot of times, unfortunately, women are involved in the process. Women that they've either enslaved or are being trafficked currently, and like they think that they're going to, you can watch the documentaries on it, but I noticed the same two women of the same ethnicity as the men who had come up to me, looking around like they were looking for someone. And the first time they walked past, I noticed them because of the way they were dressed. It stood out in the middle of the park, and it matched their religion and their ethnicity. So it stood out amongst all the other people who were sitting there drinking, right? So, and it looked like a mother and her, like, 20-year-old daughter, like a 50-year-old mom and maybe older, and 20-year-old daughter. That's kind of what it looked like. And at first it looked like they were walking through the park looking for someone. And then the second time that they walked back by, looking like they were looking for someone, but it was in too close a proximity to me, that's when I drew the line. That's when it became more than just a coincidence, or it felt more than a coincidence. So these are kind of some things that you just know to watch for. Like I said, I was having a little bit of wine in here, but unless I'm in my Airbnb or in my hostel, I don't have more than one or two drinks, just so that I can stay aware of my surroundings. And for reasons like that, it felt super sketchy. I did not feel safe. I didn't feel good. So I made my way over to a group of girls and kind of stood by them for a minute. And then stopped and took some pictures. But it was really me stopping to look around and get a full, before I walked away, get a full, like, look around of my environment around me, like who was watching, who was, like, it looked like I was taking pictures and taking video, but I just did a full overview of who was around me, what color shirts, what heights, stuff that I could continue to look for as I was walking home. So as I was walking home, and if I turned around and I saw the same guy that had originally asked me, "Where's your husband?" Was in a red shirt and had a beard, and so if I saw something like that again, I'd know that I was being followed. And this is the first time in a month and a half in all of the countries I've been in that this has happened to me. So or that I've felt unsafe and that I haven't felt great. And I hate that it was on my last night here and all I wanted to do was go watch the Eiffel Tower sparkle. But I did go to, it's a Friday night. It's the last Friday night before school starts here in France. It is beautiful weather. And I also went to the most crowded area of town and a big tourist spot. Like I was in a space where there was a reason that was happening, unfortunately. So it sucks. Men are creepy. Not all men, but men can be. Doesn't mean I'll never travel again. No, but it might means I don't go back to the Champs de Mars to watch the Eiffel Tower sparkle on a Friday night again. By myself. So, and maybe I would. Maybe I would if, just I may sit in a different spot or something. I don't know. But anyways, this has been, we're going on 12 minutes now of me talking, but I just wanted to put it in video while I was fresh. Like I said, really once I got out of that park area and started walking home, I felt immensely better. Like immediately I felt better. The area I'm in is super great. It's fantastic. So, I did as soon as I removed myself from the spot where there were so many people and I felt better. But, yeah, that's the first time that's happened on this trip. And, it just be aware of your surroundings. And, yeah, I'm sure by the time this post, I'll have, gosh, I'm so far behind on my editing right now. Let's see, today is August 27th. Let's see if I can get this video out before December. Anyways, so I'll be sure to record once I get to another stopping place where I've got an Airbnb, because I go back to a hostel life tomorrow night. I'll record a video and put some stuff together for my tips and tricks and things that I do to try and be safer as a solo female traveler. To maybe help you guys. Help the ladies. The guys don't really need any help. But anyways, so that was my night. I'm honestly kind of exhausted. This is the point where it's like, do I go to bed and set my alarm for 6 a.m. and just like hope for the best? Or do I stay up late and get it all together? I actually have most of it done, but okay. Well, that's all. Au revoir, Paris. It's been wonderful. I loved you. I love you still currently. I have loved you. I did love you. I do love you. I will always love you. But I need to go to the beach. My makeup no longer matches my skin, so I need some sunshine. Okay.